Okay, so I'm starting again, and now I'll be talking about phylogenetic tree construction. Okay, so we had discussed about the pairwise sequence alignment and about dot plot, dynamic programming, and heuristic approaches. Okay, talking about the Needleman-Wunsch algorithm and the BLAST program. And then I'll be proceeding with the multiple sequence alignment. What are the methods? I'll just brief you about the methods and then I'll proceed to the phylogenetic tree construction. Okay, I had told you earlier also that multiple sequence alignment, it refers to the process where we are aligning more than two sequences. Okay, and when we are aligning these more than two sequences, the result will help us to go with the production of an evolutionary tree that is said to be phylogenetic tree. Okay, so in case of pairwise sequence alignment, the main objective was to go with the searching of these motif regions or to go with the process of homology modeling. But multiple sequence alignment, this is very much helpful for going with the production of these phylogenetic tree or evolutionary trees. Okay, so these trees, phylogenetic trees, they can be commonly termed as dendrograms or cladograms. Okay, and these are actually the graphical representations where the relationship is there between when we are talking about different organisms or different species or different genomic sequences. Okay, so in today's session in bioinformatics, I'll be just talking about how we can go with the creation of the evolutionary tree by the help of genomic sequences. Okay, so the trees are actually the phylogenetic tree construction method. It includes the two kinds, distance-based method and the other one is character-based method. Okay, distance-based method is also said to be the phenetic method, and character based method is also said to be cladistic method. Okay, distance based is actually considered to be the method where we are considering the difference or the dissimilarity, and based on this distance based method we are having the two methods, UPGMA method and neighbor joining method. My session will be focused on UPGMA method and how we can go with the construction of a tree, how we can use their distance matrix to create a phylogenetic tree. Okay. The second type of method is character-based method, where we are considering how the characters, nucleotides or the amino acids, how they are just going with the process of distance matrix or the character-based matrix. Okay, and how we can go with the creation of these phylogenetic tree based on the likelihood method or the parsimony method. Okay, so the tree that is being produced by the distance-based method is said to be dendrogram, and the tree that is produced by character-based method, it is said to be cladogram. So when you will go with the study of any phylogenetic tree, you will just see all these terms. What about the root? Root, leaves, branches, and the branch length. Okay, and ultimately, as I told you, there are these two kinds of trees. The one is said to be dendrogram is under the phenetic method, the distance base, and the one under character base is said to be a cladogram. Okay, so root will help us to understand what is the origin of evolution. Because while going with the multiple sequence alignment, I told you in my previous session also that multiple sequence alignment is aligning more than two sequences, trying to create an evolutionary tree with methods like sum of pairs, progressive or iterated type of method. Okay, so when we go with the alignment process, we keep on searching for similar regions. And while searching for similar regions, we need to understand that the hypothesis which we are considering is that once upon a time, all these sequences, they must be having a major similarity or they must be identical to each other just because of evolutionary changes, mutation changes, they got to have this kind of variation. Okay, so we need, while constructing a phylogenetic tree, always we will have a root, and root will be supposed to be the origin of evolution. Okay, we'll suppose that this was the point where all the species, all the sequences, they were there as the root point, identical to each other, but while moving ahead, generation after generation, they got into that variation pattern. Okay, so leaves will be actually representing the current organisms or the species or genomic sequence, whatever you are considering for your analysis purpose. Okay, and branches will definitely help us to understand how these sequences or organisms or species, how they are connected to each other, how they are related to each other. Okay, the branch length is actually representing the evolutionary time. What was the evolutionary time? What was the distance? Okay, and that distance is actually helping us to understand what about the similarity. Because whenever I'll be talking about the term distance, we need to understand we are talking about the dissimilarity or the percentage of how much the more the distance is, the more their dissimilarity will be there. Okay, the lesser will be the similarity will be there between the two sequences. So we consider that similarity is inversely proportional to distance measurement. While going with the construction of a phylogenetic tree using UPGMA, again we will go with the same concept where we will consider minimum distance is equal to maximum similarity. Okay, so when we create a phylogenetic tree, we have these two types of trees. We are having the rooted kind of a tree and we are having this unrooted kind of a tree. Okay, so this rooted kind of a tree, you can see in the two pictures, this is a rooted kind of a tree and this is an unrooted kind of a tree. Okay, so rooted is having a root and it is having nodes and branches. Like for example, you can see here, this is a node, it is having these two branches and ultimately it is leading to two nodes, more nodes and four new branches. Okay, A, B, C, D are the four new branches. Whereas here you can see in the unrooted tree, there is no common root. There is no common root, only it is showing relatedness of the leaves. Okay, so there are two nodes. This is one node and this is one node, and they are basically connected by the help of three branches. One here and the other one here. Okay, so both kind of trees are there. We can go with the study of both kind of trees, but our main motive will be to go with an evolutionary relationship study, going up with the study of rooted trees, because we are trying to understand that is there any kind of common ancestry between all the species or all the sequences which we want to go with the consideration of similarity presence. Okay. So there are other kind of trees as well, besides unrooted and rooted, there is, I told you, cladogram, dendrogram, and then there is phylogram again. Okay, so in case of cladogram, we are considering branch length is there, but it is not concluding any kind of useful information. Okay, when we are considering these phylograms, then we represent the branch length and they are basically representing the evolutionary change. Then there are ultrametric trees as well, where the branch length is representing time. It is dependent on time. And the length from the root to the leaves, they are considered to be the same. Okay, we are not changing the branch length in case of our ultrametric type of roots, phylogenetic trees. Okay, so I'll proceed with how to go with the construction of a phylogenetic tree. Okay, so I told you the application of MSA was to go with the evolutionary tree. So the first step is actually going with the process of multiple sequence alignment. Okay, so multiple sequence alignment needs to be done. That can be done using multiple web-based tools and softwares. Okay, Cluster Omega is there, Muscle is there, MAFT is there, T-Coffee is there, K-Align is there. I'll show you few of them in the practical session. So either of them can be used. Okay, and all these tools, they will help you to go with the process of alignment. All the sequences which you will be entering as an input, it will align all those sequences and it will try to search the best possible similar regions for all these sequences. Okay, like for example, this is the result these sequences are taking, and the sequences for bird, lemur, chimp, human, dog, cat, cow and pig, all the sequences were taken up. Okay, and when the sequence was pasted into one of the tools, then the result was like this. So based on the similarity, the tree was constructed. Okay, so it is having number of roots, nodes, and number of branches. There is a node here. Okay, a common node will be there, and depending on the node, the branches are being divided, and it is representing what amount of similarity as well as what amount of variation is there between the sequences, trying to represent how they are evolutionarily related to each other. Okay, so we need to understand that going with the process of multiple sequence alignment, the results will be, we need to go for the study of how they are connected evolutionarily. Okay, so depending on what kind of a method you want to go for, you want to go for a distance based method or you want to go for a character based method, you need to go with the study of these methods and analyze the results as well statistically. Okay, so this will be all when we go with the process of phylogenetic tree construction. Okay, but there are two methods, as I told you. There is this distance based method, and it is actually calculating the distance between the leaves, between the species or the sequences, which whatever you are considering for your analysis. And based on this distance only, we are trying to create a tree. And we need to understand that this kind of a method is actually used comparatively in a better manner, in a more consideration if we compare it with the character based method, although the results are not good in case of this distance based method, but it is comparatively used more than the character based. The reason is that it is a fast used fastest method, like UPGMA and neighbor joining. The results which we get from using both these methods, they are a bit faster. Like for example, we have gone with the tools for pairwise alignment. Also, we have the BLAST and we have FASTA. So as we compare with the accuracy thing, so we say that the accuracy of FASTA tool is better, but the speed of BLAST tool is faster. Okay, in the similar manner, if we talk about the accuracy of our distance matrix method, so we consider it is less accurate but more faster. So UPGMA method is actually the method where we are considering the unweighted pair group method with arithmetic mean. The abbreviation is this. Okay, so unweighted pair group method with arithmetic mean. We are considering all the species and what about the weights or the values for the those species. What we are considering is, we are considering the distance or the similarity measurement for these sequences. Okay, so basically it was originally developed way back in 1958 by Sokal and Mishner, and it was considered to be the simplest algorithm for the tree construction, because we have a few more algorithms and they are comparatively complicated if we compare it with our UPGMA method. Okay, so when we go with the construction of a tree by using this UPGMA method, what we need to do is, the first step is we need to create a distance matrix. Okay, I told you distance is representing difference and it is inversely related to similarity. So first, what we need to do is we need to compare our sequences. If, for example, I'm having 5 sequences, so I need to prepare pairs for my sequences. Okay, and I will try to calculate what is the difference between these pairs. And based on the value, I will create a distance matrix. Okay, so the same process is being done until we are getting the clusters. Okay, the process will be there. Step one will be where we will prepare pairs of leaves, as I told you, by using the shortest distance, and we will get certain clusters, and then we need to recalculate the new average distance. Okay, so how to calculate this distance? What about the distance matrix? We'll see in our slides. Okay, so I am just giving you the common example of our UPGMA method. It's example where you can see A, B, C, D, E, and here again you are seeing A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so what this example is showing, A, B, C, D, E are the 5 sequences. Okay, for finding out that how these 5 species or 5 sequences, they are connected to each other, what we need to do is we need to create a distance matrix. Okay, so this is actually a distance matrix. A is having a defined sequence, B is having its own sequence, C is having, D and E. All these are having their own sequences. Okay, so first thing is we need to find out what is the difference between these sequences. Like I will compare A and B. I will compare A and C. I will compare A and D, A and E. So what I'll do is I'll first make possible pairs for my sequences. Okay, and with the pairs, I will try to find out what is the difference between the two sequences. Like if I'm talking about A and B, so 20 is the dissimilarity number between the two sequences. A and B, they are dissimilar to each other and the score value is 20. Okay, A and C, they are also dissimilar to each other with the score value of 60. A and D, 100, A and E, 90. Okay, so this whole matrix, this matrix of UPGMA of distance based method which we are using is calculated by the help of distance measurement or the dissimilarity measurement when we are considering two pairs, one pair at a time, considering two sequences at a time. Okay, so like this, the whole distance matrix is actually being created. You can see here, all these values are representing the difference. Here you can see there is this zero value. The reason is you can see if A is aligned to A, there is no difference between the sequence. Obviously, it is an identical sequence. So the number of mismatches in this case will be zero. Similarly, B and B 0, C and C 0, D and D 0, E and E 0. So this is the case when we are considering how the two sequences related to each other. Okay, whenever we will go for any kind of tree construction using a UPGMA method, you can see that mostly the matrix is given in one half, in one diagonal half. Okay, because the second diagonal half, it is having the same value, the similar values. Okay, because what we are considering is A and B here. So A and B is also here. So the value will be 20 here, 60 here, 100 here, 90 here, and similarly 50, 90, 80, 40, 50, and 30. Okay, so the first thing while creating a phylogenetic tree using a UPGMA method is just take a matrix, a two-dimensional matrix, put all the species, like I have taken 5 species in the row, all the species in the column, and calculate the scores for as much possible pairs you can make. A to B, A to C, A to D, A to E, and similarly with B to C, B to D, B to A. Okay, so the matrix is being created, filling up the values. Now we want to start with the process of tree construction. As it is the distance-based method, the consideration is we need to understand that minimum distance is representing maximum similarity. So we will try to search out for the minimum value. Obviously, we will not consider the zero values because these values are between the same sequence. And we are trying to find a relationship between two different sequences. So the zero values are neglected. We will consider all the other values. Like for example, the 20. You can see in the matrix, the most the minimum value out of all these is 20 here. Okay, so 20 is the minimum value you can see, and that you can see it is between A and B. So the species A and B, they are dissimilar to each other and the score value is 20. So what we are considering that A and B are the most similar sequences out of all, and the difference between them is 20. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a node. This is the node point, and from node we will divide and we will pair two branches. So we are considering both had the same root, okay, a common ancestor, and with the variation with the difference of distance length 20, they were divided into A and B species. So this will be a consideration, and with this we will start with the creation of our tree. So starting with the common ancestor, the branches are being prepared, A and B, and then we'll move ahead with the creation of our tree. Okay. So while creation of a tree, if I have merged both these A and B species to a single node, then obviously this distance matrix will be updated, because the method is unweighted pair group using arithmetic mean. So I need to take the arithmetic mean every time I am merging two sequences with a common node. Okay, here you can see this is the matrix, but in the next page you will see that the matrix is looking like this. Okay, why? Because we have merged our species A and B with a common node. Okay, so while merging the species, what I need to do is I need to consider the values in this column A and in this column B. Okay, I had merged the values, and while merging the values, what I need to do, I need to take the arithmetic mean, because the process is based on what we are doing. We are trying to calculate the distance based on the arithmetic means. Okay, so now the values, what I took this value 20, A and B made. Now I'm merging the values. So 60 plus 50 divided by 2 is 55. 100 plus 90 divided by 2 is 95. 90 plus 80 divided by 2 is 85. Okay, so I added both the columns, the values in both the columns, and I took the arithmetic mean, that is I divided by 2. So I got my matrix like this: 55, 95, 85. Okay, so now I'm considering that I'm having a node that is the root. Root is actually divided into two branches, A and B. They had the common ancestor, and the difference between them is 20. 10 each, so 20 is the distance between both of them. Okay, and now this branch AB, you can see here, it is connected to C, it is connected to D, and it is connected to E by these distances: 55, 95, 85. Okay, now again, because this is a distance based method, and we are considering the minimum distance to be the maximum similar information. Okay, so what I will do is I will just pick up the minimum value out of all this. So the next minimum value here is 30, and here you can easily see 30 is the distance between D and E. So this is the distance between D and E, 30. So now I am considering that there must be a common ancestor for both D and E. And supposing this, I had just created a new branch. Okay, so now I had considered another common ancestor, a node, and from this we are getting these two branches D and E. So the species D and E, they are related to each other, having a common ancestor with a distance of 30. Just like how A and B species were connected to the common ancestor with a distance of 20. Okay, so the new average distance now we need to consider, because D and E are the new branch which we have got with a common ancestor. So what we need to do is we need to take the average distance again. Okay, so you can see here what we have done is we have merged the columns D and E. Here you will see merge the columns and merge the rows. We have taken this distance, so I have just merged both these rows D and E, averaging the distance 95 plus 85. Okay, so I have went to 90, and here again I'm adding the values, so I went up for 45. Okay, here you can see the value is 90, because I added 95 plus 85 divided by 2, 180 by 2, 90. And when I added 40 plus 50 by 2, so it went to 45. And this value I have taken because I constructed my tree, that is the relationship between D and E. Okay, so now my matrix turned to be like this. I got two branches, A and B, and the other one is D and E with their own common ancestors, separate to each other. Okay, so while creating the tree in the next step, again I need to search for the minimum distance. Okay, so while searching for the minimum distance again, I can see that 45 is the minimum distance here. Okay, so 45 is the minimum distance here. What I will do is I will consider this 45. This 45 is between DE and C. Here you can see, now I have created another branch, and the branch is of C, and this is connected to my DE. So initially DE had a common ancestor. Now this common ancestor is connected to the branch C, okay, with a distance of 45. So DE and C, they are sharing a distance of 45, and now they are having a common ancestor. Here you can see, here it will have a common ancestor, a common root. Okay, so we are still having two different common ancestors. One is connecting A and B, and the other one is connecting D, E and C. Okay, so still we are having two different branches, but we want to understand how they're connected to each other. Is there any kind of relationship, and what about the measurement of distance between these branches? Okay, so for the next step, you can see here the distance is, we have taken this 45, and now what, by using the distance 45, we had considered D, E and C to be the common ancestor branches. So we have added the values. 90 plus 55 divided by 2, the arithmetic mean. Next value is 72.5. So here we got 72.5. Okay, so this 72.5 value, if you can see easily, it is between AB and CDE. This value is representing how AB branch is connected to CDE branch. Okay, the distance is 72.5. Thus, I created a root, and I created, after creation the root, I just saw that the two branches are emerging. One branch is connecting my CDE, and the other branch is connecting my AB. And this is the final result which I get from for my UPGMA tree construction method. Okay, so these are considered to be the two clusters. One cluster is of AB, the other cluster of CDE. Okay, so this is the method uh, which we have to use while creating a tree, and while creating a tree particularly for distance based method. Because in case of neighbor joining method, the case is not like this. And obviously I told you earlier also that UPGMA and neighbor joining, they are different. It is faster consider. Okay, and it is using the ultrametric type of tree construction method. Okay, and the evolutionary rates in this case, in neighbor joining methods, they are varying in a large manner. Okay, in that case the evolutionary rate was comparatively lesser, but in case of neighbor joining method, the evolutionary rates are comparatively great. Okay, so this is a kind of a tree, evolutionary tree, and this is said to be a star-like relationship which we usually get with neighbor joining method. Okay, I won't go in detail with the neighbor joining method. I'll just let you know that in case of UPGMA method, that kind of a tree, if you can see here, okay, this tree is top to bottom tree. You can see the tree is having the root at the top, and the branches or the result, the species, they are at the bottom. Okay, they are hierarchically related to each other, and this is supposed to be the top to bottom type. Okay, so in this type, and there is also the bottom to top kind of a tree. Okay, and we consider the agglomerative and divisit type of approach when we go with the construction of these kind of clusters, because somehow the clusters, they are connected evolutionarily to each other. Okay, so the kind of similarity between these branches will help us to go with the process of clustering as well, where we go with clustering methods like hierarchical, k-mean, okay, and other types. And in case of hierarchical, we go with the divisive type, top to bottom, or with bottom to up, that is the agglomerative type. Okay, trying to search out how the species, they are connected to each other. Okay, and the most important thing is when we go with the construction of any kind of UPGMA, any kind of phylogenetic tree using this UPGMA method, so we need to understand that all the species should be connected to each other, should have a defined number of mismatches, a distance measurement. Okay, so distance measurement is here. During the calculation of distance measurement, there are different methods for distance measurement. Okay, you can use the edit distance measurement method. You can go for the method of your Hemming distance measurement method. Okay, so in case of Hemming distance measurement, it is an easy method where we are considering distance measurement. Like you can see here, A and B, it is having a distance of 20. So while aligning A and B, I just try to search out how many number of mismatches are there. So this is a simple method of Hemming distance. I calculating my Hemming distance by just searching out for the mismatches. But in case of edits distance or Levenshtein distance, we call it Levenshtein also. So in that particular case, what we need to do is we need to understand how one species can be connected into the other species. Okay, and like this, we can just move ahead with the process of calculation of our distance and process of phylogenetic tree. Okay, now I will show you how we can just go with the use of our sequence alignment tools and how we can proceed with the process of alignment using different multiple sequence alignment softwares. I'll just talk about the Clustal Omega, I'll talk about T-Coffee, then I'll discuss about Muscle and MAFT. So these are the tools which we can use for the process of alignment. Okay, so while aligning the method which I'm using during the alignment, the purpose is alignment methods are both distance based and character based. Okay, so that you are very much aware that distance based is there, character based is there. Distance based I have discussed, not gone into my character based method, maximum parsimony and likelihood, but my main focus is distance based method. So my tools which I'll be discussing will be based on distance based method only. Okay, so in case of distance-based method, particularly UPGMA method, we will talk about cladograms and dendrograms, and the process should be based on totally on multiple sequence alignment. Because if there is no multiple sequence alignment, then the results will not be related to each other, because the tree which we want to get as a result should be related to each other. Okay, so I'll just proceed with the practicals. Okay. So here you can see, first of all, I'll show you few of the tools. This is Muscle. Okay. Muscle is here. Muscle is actually the multiple sequence comparison tool and based on the log expectation. Okay. T-Coffee is there. T-Coffee is actually working. It is again a multiple sequence alignment tool. All these tools which I'll be discussing right now, they are all multiple sequence alignment tools helping us to understand what is the similarity between the sequences. Okay, and talking about the similarity, the ultimate result will be a phylogenetic tree. So this T-Coffee method, this is what it is doing. It is actually using multiple methods to calculate the results. Okay, ultimately, the results which T-Coffee is using is considering multiple methods. Okay, I'll start with the first tool. Okay, internet got slow. Okay, this is the most famous tool. Okay, this is the most famous tool. Just wait. So in this particular tool, this is Clustal Omega. Initially, this Clustal Omega was also termed as Clustal W. Okay, so Clustal W or Clustal Omega, this actually is a tool which is famously used for aligning multiple sequences. All these tools, you can see there is this EMBL and EBI on the home page. So EMBL is the European Molecular Biology Laboratory. You are very much aware, European Bioinformatics Institute. So basically they are maintaining these tools. You can, in all the sections of the tools, you can go into this section where the documentation is there with respect to your tool. What all information you want to go for, what about the tool, what purpose is the tool used for, that I have discussed earlier also. Clustal Omega is the tool used for multiple sequence alignment, and if I'm talking about multiple sequence alignment, then I can't go for two sequences, I need to go for more than two sequences, that is three or more. Okay, so while going with cluster omega, the second thing is this cluster omega, it is helpful for going with multiple sequence alignment for more than 4,000 sequences. Okay, for a limit of 4,000 sequences, we can't go for more than that, but it is the one of the best tools which we can use, because in case of tea coffee, I'll show you, in case of tea coffee, you can see here only 500 sequences can be used. Okay, so the minimum limit is 500 sequences. So comparatively, if I'll compare cluster omega with tea coffee, cluster omega is supposed to be a better method where I can compare many sequences and I can make a map a phylogenetic tree, understanding what is the evolution relationship between these sequences, a maximum of 4,000. Okay, so going with cluster omega, we need to go on the main page, cluster omega. I'll show you. And tea coffee. Tea coffee is actually a multiple sequence alignment tool. You can understand that the tool is going with various other methods. The tool is not going with the specific method. It is using the results of multiple other tools. Like it is using the results of cluster omega. It is using the results of die-align. It is also using the results from other structural alignment methods. Okay, and ultimately it is going for multiple sequence. It is also not used for any kind of pairwise alignment. Okay, and this is basically dealing with protein sequences. This tea coffee is basically dealing with the protein sequences. Okay, so I'll just also show you MAFT. MAFT is again a sequence alignment tool, and this is also used for multiple sequence alignment. This is the home page for MAFT. You can go here, you can go with the process. It is also again based on the distance based method, UPGMA, and NJ construction method for the phylogenetic tree. Okay, and next you can see I was talking about cluster omega. Okay, so this is what is cluster omega looks like. Okay, this is the home page, you can see easily. Okay, the maximum sequences I told you that can be studied for alignment is around 4,000 with a maximum file size of 4 MB. Okay, step one is we need to enter our input sequence. So while entering our input sequence, first we need to understand what sequence we are taking. What is the type of sequence we are taking. We are taking a protein sequence, or we are taking DNA or RNA. So depending on that, we will proceed. Okay, we will, if I want to go with the DNA sequence, nucleotide sequences, then I'll select this tab here, DNA. Okay, if I want to go for protein sequences, then I need to go for the selection of my protein tab or RNA. Okay, so we need to understand what is the nature of the sequence. Second thing is sequences should be pasted here. What are the supported formats? This you can see from here. Okay, the formats which cluster omega accepts. Okay, the protein, DNA, RNA, and these are the formats. Okay, it takes the formats GCG, FASTA, EMBL, GenBank, PIR, NBRF, PhyLib, UniProt, SwissProt. So these are the different formats. Okay, I had talked about FASTA format. EMBL formats are the formats which I talked about, like GenBank format and EMBL, the text file formats from other protein sources. And PhyLib is another phylogenetic tree construction tool, and SwissProt, UniProt, we have discussed a lot many times. So all these different formats can be used for giving information as an input in this particular tool. Okay, like for example, I had talked about multiple times about the FASTA file format, because this is the most easiest file of format which we can extract easily from any database. Like I want to go for a process of DNA sequencing. So I want to understand that, like for example, 4 different species or 5 different species, how they are related to each other. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to extract these sequences for them. Okay, so I'm having these sequences for those species. What I can do is I can simply paste the sequences here. Or the second thing is I can paste the sequences on Notepad and make a file and upload the file. So I'm having both the options, pasting the sequences, okay, and uploading the file. And then I need to understand what parameters I want to go for. I want to go for simply a cluster W or a Pearson FASTA or multiple sequence. These are the different formats. You can just go through here. Okay, here you can see in this particular tool, these are the alignment formats which you're getting as an output. Okay, if you want to select for a particular output you want to go for, you want to have an alignment format only in FASTA sequence, then you can select this one. A format that is based on cluster omega format without we are considering bases or residues numbering, then we can select this cluster omega. Okay, so these are the different formats. You can select either of one going depending on what kind of research you want to go and how you want to analyze your data in future and using it for any other further software. Okay, so this can be done using this output format thing. Okay, and there are other options. Again, you can just consider the default settings, or you want, then you can consider the other settings as well. Okay, so these settings are basically depending on the kind of a tree you are using. Okay, so the input sequences you want to consider from D align, which is a pairwise sequence alignment tool. Okay, you want to go for embed like clustering guide, so this is a guide that will help you to go for clustering process in a tree format. Okay, so all these other um, notifications and parameters are there. You can just go if you want to search for, or you can just go with the simple default value. Okay, so coming up, when after the submission of sequence, you need to submit your job. Click it. If you want it on your email ID, you can check this box, and if you don't want it, then you will get the result on this page itself. Okay, so I'll just show you. I had shown you, see the process for all these tools, whether it is this muscle or it is tea coffee, all are having the same process. The page is almost similar. Okay, muscle is having the similar page. See, you can see this is the window and sequences needs to be placed, parameters can be set, or default parameters can be left like that only. Okay, so in case of tea coffee also, we were having this. Only the difference is it is dealing with not more than 500 sequences, and what it is doing is it is considering multiple methods of alignment, multiple tools for alignment to produce the results. Okay, and MAFT was again the alignment tool that is used for this multiple sequence alignment. Again, it is the box, the text box where you can paste your sequence, or you can just browse the file, put it on Notepad and browse it, a plain text file, and you can have your results. Use obviously both for proteins and DNAs or the nucleotides like RNA as well. Okay, K-align is also there, and K-align, this is working. There is actually L-align. So L-align is working for just for pairwise alignment, but this K-align, it is helpful for multiple sequence alignment. And for 500 limit, I can go for tea coffee. If I want to go for a limit of 2000 sequences, then K-align is also helpful, because at that moment tea coffee won't be helpful for me. But if I want to go for sequence study for more than 2000, then obviously I need to go for cluster omega. Okay, so here again the same process, protein is there, DNA is there, it is not dealing with RNA sequences. Okay, and you can paste your sequence and go for the process of alignment. Okay, so I will just tell you how we can go. We can go with the process. I will give you the example of my DNA sequence. I'm selecting DNA here. Okay, and I need to paste my sequences. So for example, I am taking few of the sequences, like I will be using sequence of Homo sapiens. So what I did was I went to my GenBank or NCBI. I took my FASTA sequence from here. Okay, I'm not taking the whole sequence because it is extremely bigger sequence. I'm just taking a portion of this sequence. Okay, so what I need to do is I will just select it, copy a part. Okay, while going with the analysis, you need to take the whole sequence. I just copied it, I pasted it. Okay, now you need to put a space here, because if you're not putting a space, the sequence will be considered as a single sequence. If you'll keep on adding the sequences and not putting any kind of space, then the tool will consider it to be a single sequence. Okay, the second sequence I'm taking is for rat. Okay, And now again, yes, I should take it from here only. I will just take for cat. Okay, so cat I'm taking a sequence from here. So I need my FASTA format. Just copied a portion of it, not taking the whole of the thing. And I just entered, put some space, and I pasted my third sequence again. Okay, so the same thing what I can do was I could have just pasted the sequence on the notepad and uploaded my file. Okay, now I'm keeping everything as default value and I'm not checking this. I don't want my results on the email. I'm just clicking the part that is submitting. Okay, and you will have the results will be there. The job ID is here. Okay, so I went for 3 sequences only. I took for Homo sapiens, human, rat, and cat. Okay, so there were 3 sequences. You can easily see the dashes. The stars are actually representing the matches. Rest all you can see the possibility of matching between these 3 sequences is so less. And it can be a possibility just because I've taken a portion of sequence. Okay, I'm not taking the whole sequences for all these 3, but you can see the alignment. Okay, and here you can see some gaps because the tool is trying to search out for all the possible similar regions. So wherever it can go for putting up the gaps, considering the indel condition, it will put up the gaps and try to search out for the similar regions. Okay, so this is a kind of multiple sequence alignment result. The summary you will get here from the result summary tab. These are the different types. The input is here, the output you can download it from here. The alignment result, file guide tree, and the phylogenetic tree. I'll show you the phylogenetic tree from here. So this is what we were talking about. This is a phylogenetic tree, but it is a kind of an ultrametric type. The branch lengths, which you can see, they are of the same length. Okay, so they are somehow related to each other. Some kind of similarity is there. Okay, result viewers. Okay, so if you want to go for viewing the results, okay, if you will download this, because this was the result summary, I got it from here. I want to just download my tree. I'll just download my dendrogram, the guide tree. The moment I'll download it, it will be downloaded on my desktop, okay, on my laptop. And if I want to just view the tree, okay, so I won't be able to view the tree. So in the similar manner, where I needed a visualization tool or software to view my protein structure, similarly, I need to have a tool that will help me to just visualize my phylogenetic tree. So I can just go for tree view. It will definitely help me to view my phylogenetic tree. Okay, so this is all about the phylogenetic tree construction, few tools you can use. And if you're having any questions, then you can message me in the chat. I can take the questions now. Thank you.